A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH 286, and for some reason I've got a bit of a problem here. Stand by. The old SWR, for those that are radio inclined, is just showing it's a bit high. Maybe all this rain and sunshine today, on and off, has confused it a bit. Anyway, this is Patricia and David, Gulf Harbour Radio, and we do have a pleasant night, although sunrise probably won't think it's very pleasant because the wind has dropped to about 5 knots here, and they're pretty close to us. We actually have at the moment 1021.7 on the bar and steady, 17 degrees, so no complaints about the temperature really. No wind, 5 to 7 knots, and it's about 50% cloud cover. The wind is west-southwest, but it really is not much here at all. Just an item, thank you from Venture Lady to tell people that might be closing on Vanuatu. Thursday is a holiday. They take their holidays very seriously over there. It's Ascension Day, so they are on holiday as well as the weekend, presumably. And I did send Venture Lady some email options. The man that we have dealt with last year, covering things related to checking in because Simon Farrow has gone to a new position, and so the man called Daryl, that's his surname, or maybe his first name, I don't know, but anyway, it's Daryl at vanuatu.gov.vu. So if anyone has any troubles with communication there, let me know. There is a raft of people that he copied on my last email, so presumably somebody will be able to respond to any notifications of entry from cruises or just general questions. Okay, well, we were going to just see who caught fish today when you check in, so that would be good. David's got an interest in toothfish at the moment, but none of you will be catching toothfish. By Jove, they are ugly-looking fish.
Unless you're down in Antarctica.
Yes, if you're catching toothfish, you really are, you've got a navigational problem, because the book he is reading is all about fishing in the Antarctic, or close to the Antarctic anyway, and toothfish are predominant down there, and I looked them up, but boy, I don't think I'd want one. Some of them are as big as I am. They are huge fish, so that would be a little bit of a drama to get on board. All right, so we have boats, and I've tried to organise them a bit, going to Fiji and Tonga and Vanuatu and New Caledonia. So I will try and keep them in order, but let's go to those ones at the head of the bunch. Mintaka, Gulf Harbour Radio.
Copy, over.
Oh, there you go. I got the how copy part. So, yep, not quite so strong tonight, but go ahead, over.
Mintaka, we are 2441 south, 17925 west. We're in wind speeds of between 25 and 30 knots, and a 3-metre confused sea, and we're bearing course 030 magnetic. Boat speed sort of between 7.5 and 8. We double reefed with spacers, and it's very, very wet.
Oh, well, join the club. That's what we've had today, but not out at sea. Thank goodness that we are not. I presume it's looking like east-southeast. Is that correct, over?
It's moving around quite a range. Between east and southeast, correct, over.
Okay, east and southeast. All right, thank you for that. All right, we have Mintaka, for those that didn't hear, 2441 south, 17925 west, across the dateline, and 25 to 30 knots, but they have been doing some great speeds. I've been watching them today. 25 to 30 knots, sort of east, southeast, and confused seas, which is a bit of a nuisance. Very wet. but they're on a course of 030 magnetic, sort of in the 7.5 to 8 knot bracket. So apart from getting a bit wet, you're making good progress. So I guess you would say all is well, over?
You know, all is well, Patricia. We're heading into Minerva Reef this evening. We'll probably need to stand off. We'll get in there about 3 o'clock, so we'll stand off and go out in the first light tomorrow, and then spend the day in Minerva, and then head to Tongatapu tomorrow evening the sunset. Over.
Okay, I've got that. David might have a comment. So you'll get to Minerva tonight in the wee small hours, stand off, and yeah, we would too. I don't think I could go through Minerva, despite having a trace in the dark. Stand off and go in tomorrow, enjoy Minerva, and then depart again tomorrow. Have you got any comments? I'm passing the microphone.
No, more of the same tomorrow. It looks east 15 to 20 in that neighborhood. That's around lunchtime, and quite wise to do it in the daytime. In the daytime. We'll try daytime. Awful lot of boats have not done that, and there's an awful lot of boats that are sitting on the bottom near the entrance as well. A lot of current that comes through there, through that pass. So very wise to be cautious. So anyway, that's good. Close, and you'll be able to rest for a day or so. Any questions? Over.
Yeah, David, how is your forecast looking tomorrow? Predict wind is way out at the moment, so you know, over 10 knots out. What's your predictions for tomorrow? Over.
Well, I'm thinking about east 15 to 20 at about lunchtime. Over.
Copy. Mintaka out.
Okay. All right, so we'll see what happens with that tomorrow, and certainly, as you will know, having been there before, that you can catch a fish on a beach spoon going through the pass at Minerva, so that will be interesting to see what you get there. Let's go to Laura Dawn. Laura Dawn, behind you.
This is Laura Dawn. Can you hear me? Over?
Very good copy as usual, Matt. Go ahead.
Okay, we're quite similar to Mintaka. Actually, we've been seeing Mintaka on the horizon for most of the day today. For us, we've had 3 meters of swells that are close and broken all day, coming in from the side and front corner, east-northeast. The wind is also coming east and southeast. We are now 638 nautical miles. We've had several heavy squalls today. We've put 2 reefs in the main and 2 reefs in the Genoa. Our average speed has been between 8 and 10 knots with an average wind of 25 to 30 knots. And we're just sailing down the run line, going to hunker down in Minerva.
Yeah, I got you. I think you've got an average on AIS of about 9.2. And I thought, holy smokes. So you'll be in Minerva tomorrow, and you're going to stay a bit or just sort of rest and go, over?
We're waiting very patiently for Dave's report, so we're thinking we'll stay until it's not going to be on the nose.
No, that is not very pleasant. Do you want to cover that now?
Verify the wind, 25
yes,
to 30?
Yes, they said 25 to 30, and that would be pretty much the same as Mintaka, east, southeast, sort of in that general area. And
closer look.
Yeah, so he's going to have a closer look when that horrible on-the-nose northerlies come, which
He's
was...
looking at tomorrow.
He's always only looking at tomorrow for a minute, so they will want to know a bit further than that to know whether to stay or not at Minerva. So just give them a moment or two there. And whilst we're waiting for that, next on my list is Maori, and I should give you which way is not going to be on this frequency. They'll be on 8297, but I'll give you their that quite a bit east, so I'll give you their position as well. Where are we here? it's there's a lot of movement. It's still quite hard to. I sort of think I know where boats are, but then something happens and I get lost. So just stand by one. Oh, by the way, did you people catch a fish today, over?
Didn't put the load up today. But it's that windy and wavy for that.
Yeah, I know that's always a difficulty. It's all very well to catch a fish, but then what do you do with it? It's not very pleasant. Yeah, I was going to tell people that always save, if you've got these really glittery silver packets of Mylar, that you get bluebird potato chips and cereal and stuff like that. And I used to cut them up and cut them, or sort of leave an inch at the top of a strip and then cut them. The ladies will know how to do that for this, if you're lining a cake tin, and wrap it tightly around the top of, the usual lure. And it just seems to work a treat because they somehow like that little bit of silvery look. Anyway, I'm being told to pass the microphone. Hang on.
Well, I'm looking at the frontal band for Minerva itself, and the models are pretty much in agreement, but off just a little bit. I'm seeing probably for the most part Friday looks like the axis of the front. Now the rain and winds out of the northeast are going to be before that, a little bit before that. Let me just take a look. I think the rain's going to start probably Friday morning, just after breakfast. The axis being a little bit further to the west. The actual axis itself, I think, is going to be probably lunch or mid-afternoon. And let me look at one other model. Looking at GFS, GFS is kind of delaying a little bit in terms of the axis, and they are showing that occurring later on Friday evening time frame, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., that type of thing, and that's late Friday. And then Saturday, it looks like it's going to be probably about the heaviest amount of rain on Saturday, and that would be Saturday early in the morning before you even wake up, assuming you're anchored. So a little bit of a difference on the timing on that, but Friday, Saturday, that's when you will get the most activity in terms of the frontal band itself. So we'll see how accurate that all is.
Specifically the north winds they want to know about.
Oh, the north winds, Patricia's saying, well, the winds are going to be out of the northeast, obviously, on the east side of the axis. The axis doesn't run north-south. The axis runs north-northwest to south-southeast. So if you're on the eastern side of that axis, the winds are going to be out of the northeast. But if you're on the other side, the winds are going to be essentially southerly, maybe even southwest. So that's the story there. So wait for that to go through, and then once that happens, then you should be free and clear to head up to Fiji. And for those that are going to Tonga, yeah, you might be waiting a little bit longer if you're going to Tonga. I would say more in the early Sunday time frame, and then it would be a pretty good shot to Tonga. So that would be Sunday, early Sunday time frame for Tonga. So in other words, the front axis and the bulk of the showers will be east of you at that point.
Over.
Michael again, sorry to jump in. We had plans to leave Minerva on Wednesday evening, and how's our outlook for that timing, over?
How about the 24th?
Okay, so Wednesday, I had you leaving tomorrow, Tuesday. So Wednesday, leaving Minerva.
Wait a minute, which Wednesday?
Hang on. This Wednesday, of course. Hang on. I need to give him the dates because there's the calendars right in front of you.
Okay.
Well, I'm waiting for you. Wednesday is the 17th.
Okay, so where are you now? You're in Minerva now?
No, he's getting to Minerva late tonight, about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, and so then you want to know
Wednesday night.
If you could leave Wednesday a couple of days. That shouldn't be a problem from what I can see. The winds are going to be east, maybe east, northeast on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, you know, just a little bit further. Let's say Thursday at, hang on here. We'll say Thursday at lunchtime. The winds will back just a little bit more, east-northeast, but there is a fair amount of convective activity between Minerva and Fiji at that point. The MJO is active at the moment, so it's going to accentuate the South Pacific convergence zone. So you're going to get a fair amount of showers and squally conditions up in the Fiji area. So between Minerva and Fiji, I think that is something that unfortunately you could expect. And that's going to continue right through Friday and Saturday as well. And then by Saturday, that frontal band that we've been talking about will have caught up with you, or anybody that is heading from Minerva to Fiji. That band will catch up with you, and your winds are going to be smack dab on the nose, I'm afraid. Over.
Okay, I presume you heard that, Phil and Laura Dawn. I shall clear with you unless you've got anything else or it's not clear. I got a bit confused there, I'd have to say. I'm going to go to Maori, which way, and Diamo US are just behind you guys. They're at 25 and absolutely ripping along. Which way is doing 9.8 on a course of 018. They're at 2537 south and 17728 west with 20 knots. And Andiamo, this was an hour ago, they were doing 9.4 on a course of 003 at 25 and 178 east with 20 knots of southeast. So there's a fair amount of wind for those boats that are well away on their way. So good progress being made there, but I guess it's not all that comfortable. Okay, getting back. Oh, no, he's got another comment.
Well, just so that everybody understands what's going on, there's two highs that are involved. You've got a high that's off to the east. If you were to draw a line from, let's say, Minerva Reef to Fiji, east of that line is an anticyclone, and it's fairly strong, and in fact it's been almost a blocking anticyclone for a while. On the other side, on the west side, is another anticyclone, and that's the new one that's coming in to the Tasman. So where they come together, that axis is between Minerva and Fiji. So that's the reason that we're going to get the squalls and the rain and so forth. You get a northeast wind colliding with southerly quadrant winds, and so there's not much you can do about that. So if you're wanting to head for Fiji after the Wednesday time frame, Thursday and whatnot, you are going to get northerly quadrant winds, unless you decide to make a radical shift to the west, in which case you'll pick up the southerly quadrant winds from the new high that's coming in. And then for the boats who haven't even left New Zealand yet, looking at this coming weekend, when it's not going to be very pleasant up in the Minerva area, that actually looks like it could be a window to leave New Zealand to head up to the islands. But that's a little bit far away to judge. But That's what I could see at this point. So this is back to the chief.
All right. Poor old Mari is waiting patiently there, and we'll go to you now, Gulf Harbour Radio.
Right, this is Murray, and we're currently at 25 and 29, 5 south, 179, 46 east.
Okay, we have Mari at 2529 south and 17946 east, reading down the crossing. Go ahead.
Yes, I just left the radio for a minute as we went and changed the detail based on the reports from Mintaka and Laura Dawn. So hopefully we've patched down that exit in time. But I'd like a bit of rain to get some of the salt off. We're currently now down to about 5.5 knots, heading about 22 degrees through over.
It's always good to have boats ahead, isn't it, to know what's going on. So you have got a bit of rain to deal with, 5.5 knots on a course of 022 true. So you probably, I presume you've got the 20 to 25. It's interesting, GFS are consistently down a bit on what they're reporting at those speeds. So what have you got over?
We've been getting some very strong winds all day. We've been sitting in 20 knots for the last probably 3 or 4 hours. QCs, and we're looking forward to hopefully making Minerva sometime tomorrow. Over.
All the models are understating the winds.
Yes, David said all of the models, not just GFS, are understating the winds based on what we're getting from you folk. So it's going to be pretty social in Minerva by the sound of it. So, but I think you said you were looking to go, was it South Minerva or are you North Minerva? Over?
Look, we had aimed for North Minerva, but we will probably drop in on South in the lake that path. It'll give us better daylight to go in, but we'll make that call a bit closer on based on where we are at the right time. Over.
Yeah, roger that. Okay. Yeah, South Minerva. We've never actually managed to get South Minerva, but from the photos that people send, it looks actually quite interesting. Okay, we'll clear with you, Paul. And who else have we got going in that direction? Namaji 3, Gulf Harbour. No, nothing heard there. All right, let's go to Cabana, Gulf Harbour Radio.
Good afternoon, Gulf Harbour Radio. How do you copy me?
Oh, good copy, George. Go ahead.
Great. We're on with the pack as well, looking at Minerva. We're at 24 degrees 41 by west 17949. Copy that?
Indeed, I did. So Cabana is at 2441 south and 17949 west.
Yeah, roger that. We think we'll just push on. The kind of reward of going into Minerva but still getting to Sabu before the weekend doesn't really add up for me to go in for a day trip to Minerva after having laid outside waiting for the daylight. So I think we're just going to push on through tonight and with a ETA in Sabu sometime Thursday. Over.
Yep, I know David would do that too.
That would do what?
Push on to Sabu.
No, I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't for ETA Thursday? No? Oh, well, stand by one. I'd have to say that this is always a discussion that takes place on the good ship Chameleon because the crew, that's me, hates just standing by. I can't think of anything more boring to do as a crew in the middle because I do the midnight to 8 o'clock shift and it is so tediously boring just hove to or flopping around waiting to do something. So anyway, I'm going to pass the microphone back and see why he says no, we wouldn't do that.
Well, that's because we're old. It's as plain as day, as far as we're concerned here. Now, it's going to be a little bit choppy up there. And again, the MJO is active, and there is going to be quite a bit of convective activity up there, and that means squalls, a bit uncomfortable, in other words. And it's for that reason that we would go quite frankly, this is not advice because we do not give advice. But we would go into Minerva and we would just wait it out to let this frontal band go through and then pick up the east side of the new anticyclone and have a bit more of a pleasant run up there. It just depends on how impatient you are and what you're willing to put up with. So that's just our idea. Again, not advice.
Roger that. We've got, as usual, the cruiser's dilemma of certain deadlines in Travis Savvy. So the only option for us was what I'd call a day trip around. I didn't think the conditions in there would be that conducive to swimming. So on this occasion, given that we don't have sort of a few days to spend there and wait for a new system, we'll just take it and push on through.
Yeah, it's always a consideration, isn't it? If you can't get off the boat there, it's sort of a pain in the neck, other than just having a rest. So got that, so you'll push on through to Savu Savu and enjoy a nice cold beer when you get there at the new bar that's at the new marina that's open. So that would be nice and an incentive.
We'll be interested in getting the weather report.
Yeah, so yes, we'll be interested in getting the weather as you go through there, George. So we'll clear with you and head on to Scoots, Gulf Harbour.
Evening. Patricia, to have your copy.
Oh, this is a nice surprise, Carol. A good copy from you. Go ahead.
Skipper and First Mate bringing fish on board. Over.
Oh, well, that'll keep them busy. What was it, over?
It's a beautiful big fish mackerel, and it's going to be very delicious. But anyway, we're on south 29 degrees 26, east 17942. We've got variable less than 5 knots, and we're steering a course of 004. Over.
179 east or west?
East. David was just asking 17942 east it is, and 2926 south. Yeah, I saw that Scoots' speed had dropped, and I looked at that wind, variable less than 5. Good fishing weather though, 004 course. So just see, has he got anything to say? Yes, he has.
Yeah, the only comment that I've got is it's quite interesting because the boats that are on the other side of the date line approaching Minerva have got quite a bit more wind than you have. So I just find that very, very interesting. Anyway, now you're continuing on to Fiji, is that correct? Or are you going to scoot over? That's pretty funny, isn't it? To Minerva. You're heading on to Fiji, is that right? Over?
We're keeping our options open at this stage where we are steering a course to Minerva, but we'll just see what conditions are and what we do, whether we can push on through. That would be the plan, but we're also flexible. Over.
Okay. Well, keep us informed, and we do appreciate the weather reports. Like I say, it's rather fascinating that in a matter of about 2 or 3 degrees of longitude, the difference between the two, that much difference in wind. Very, very interesting. Okay, well, have a good evening, and we'll see what happens with you tomorrow. Over.
Thanks. Over. Thanks, over.
Yeah, we'll find out what you did with that to fish. So we've got Innocenti and Venture Lady heading, first to Namir and then to Vanuatu. But I'll just see if we've got Sunrise on frequency, because he hasn't got much wind, but I think he got, we're really looking forward to the wind report from you, because Frank, we did put the pressure on David yesterday, so I want to see whether we keep him on or not. Sunrise, Gulf Harbour. Nothing heard from Sunrise and nothing heard from Namaji, so let's go to Innocenti. Angus, are you there?
Copy loud and clear, Patricia. How about us?
Oh, yeah, very good. Go ahead.
We're at 2757 south, 16951 east. We're sailing a course of 320 true. We've had it up and down all day, but at the moment we're sailing at about 7 knots. The barometric pressure is 3022. And we've got about 80% cloud cover at the moment and a blustery sort of southeast, southeast breeze sort of anywhere between up to about 24, 25 knots. I think.
Well, that is interesting because I looked at your what GFS said, but I'll give people the 2757 south, 16951 east on a course of 320 true at 7 knots. They're heading to Noumea, about 80% cloud cover with southeast, south-southeast 24, gusting a bit higher, and GFS just had you at about 10 knots of southeast. So, yeah, boy, they are all out of plumb at the moment, aren't they? I'll just pass the microphone. Here's David.
No, all the models, I say all the models, the three that we're looking at, the EC, GFS, and the bomb model access, they're all showing winds a lot less than what you've got. But there is a higher band of wind that the models are picking up north of 30. So around, I would say, 27, 28 south. That is where they're picking up the stronger winds. But obviously, they're wrong. And your report is proving that. So that's just another example of how models are just an idea, and I do appreciate the information from you. Over.
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, no, it's a little bit showery and reasonably lumpy sea running, but it's nice to be making ground under sailors.
Yeah, that's true. It's very infrequently absolutely perfect, isn't it? So, but yes, you're making really good progress. So it does look as if it's not going to get any higher, so that's good, if you can believe them. So, and from what it looks fairly stable. So
well, it will.
It will get a bit.
There's going to be.
So I'm just overlooking his shoulder. Hang on.
No. I think what Trish meant to say is that the winds that you've got now will probably continue at about that velocity. Like I say, that band of the models are picking it up to be further north than you really are. But by tomorrow, at about this time, you will be in that area of higher winds according to the model. So probably your wind strength is going to be about the same as what you're getting now. And fortunately, it's going to be roughly easterly quadrant. So heading up toward Noumea, that sounds pretty good to me. Over.
Yeah, no, we've been running under a pole overhead, so wing on wing today, and just sort of wondering whether to drop that down and come a little bit more into the east to give us a bit of easting before we get too close another.
Well,
He's going to have a look at that because yes, it's a bit good to sort of get things sorted before the black and the crew go to sleep. Hang on.
yeah, you're in a very interesting spot because that depression that's forming between in the Tasman between New Zealand and Australia, as you go further to the north, obviously we're dealing with clockwise winds. So not sure I would put very much easting in. This is one of those occasions where you might want to think about putting in a little bit more westing, getting on the other side of Norfolk, in other words, because as that new high moves into the Tasman, that wind is going to start off being southwest. So if you go too far east, you're going to be on the wind a little bit more than you maybe want to be. I'm looking at Friday as an example, and from what I could see, Friday getting well in the neighborhood of say 24, 25 south. The winds will be south southwest. So you can see what I mean. If they are correct in what they're saying, then it probably would pay to have a little bit more west in your course than east in your course. Over.
Thank you, David. The sort of hope to be in by late Wednesday, early Thursday, and if we can keep the pace up. Over.
All right, if the models are accurate, and that's the case, then probably you'd want to be west of 165 west of that. Over.
Roger, then a little bit of room to move over. Over.
Yeah, that's my thinking there. So anything can happen, but yeah, well, you're moving along pretty good. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk to you tomorrow and see what the models have done, what changes that they've made. But that's how we see it now. Over.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. I'm still a dinosaur, so I've been flying down Texas from New Zealand, and yeah, nothing there like me testing. So yeah, we'll just keep trucking along and hopefully make some miles over the night.
Yep, roger that. And it's certainly not being a dinosaur to pull down products that actually a human being has put together. Really good to hear. Because that means that they have looked at all sorts of things, and that's what their best estimate is. So good to hear. All right, clear with Innocenti, and let's go to Venture Lady.
Good evening, Mrs. Venture Lady.
Yeah, good copy there, Andy. And did you get my email over?
Negative. I haven't picked up an email from you today. But thank you for sending it anyway. Over.
Yeah, I just sent you the message, well, the email address, and it's a very easy one to try. It's I'll just spell it phonetically: Victor, Delta, Alpha, Romeo, Oscar, Lima. So that's vdaryl@vanuatu.gov.vu. And he was the one that took over from Simon Farrer, who we all used to deal with for many years. And the email I sent, though, includes the email address for about 3 or 4 others there, because the last email I sent him discussing entry into, I think it was Anisham or Tanner or whatever it was, he copied about 4 others. So I've sent you just the list. So but start with him and see how you get on. Anyway, go ahead with your position. Over.
Thank you. Yes, our position is 28 degrees 38 south, 171 degrees 51 east. Pretty much on the rum line to Vanuatu from Perth. We're on day 4 at the moment. The wind is from the south-southeast. I wish it would go around a little further to the east to give us some angle, because we're running dead downwind at the moment. Over.
So what's your wind strength, over?
Yeah, the strength is a little bit up on what the models suggest. We've got 18, 19 knots at the moment. But most of the day it's been around about 14 knots from the south-southeast. I'll give you a barometer reading of 10:30, 1030, and a nice temperature of about 25 degrees. Over.
Hey, you could have not given that. It makes me feel cold. So south-southeast about 18, but with average of about 14. So what would be your ETA Port Vila, over?
Variable feast. It depends how much west we have to put in and then undo again to get around this trough that's coming through. We've delayed going nowhere fast in lots of wind. But I think we'll probably arrive maybe Sunday. Over.
Okay, so maybe Sunday, so be nice and peaceful to get the boat organised before you have to bother with customs. And thank you for the message about the Ascension Day holiday there. And of course the weekend nothing much happens either.
Which is latitude?
The latitude for Venture Lady is 2838 and 17151 at the moment. So yep, just trucking along the rum line here. Quite a high pressure. So at 25 degrees, how lovely. At least you don't have... It's always nice going north, isn't it? It's not like coming home again. Did you want the microphone? No, you're just having a look there.
No, I'm looking all right. And from what I can see, yeah, it just depends on how fast you're getting north. As you approach Anisham, on your way to Port Vila, the winds, probably in the Friday time frame, they're going to be quite a bit different from what you're getting now. They're going to be basically, from what I can see, southwest in the Friday time frame, and then looking at the Thursday time frame, unfortunately, the winds are going to be on the nose. The way that low is forming, depending, see your rum line between New Zealand and Anisham, those winds are going to change to northeast for a while as that depression starts to wind up, and then as you get further north and it gets further east, then the winds are going to change even more out of the south-southwest. So a lot of change in wind direction. Everything just depends on how fast that low goes and how fast you go north. So we'll talk to you tomorrow, get your position, and see how things go. But I don't think you have much choice on doing anything other than the rum line at the moment. Over.
That's the plan. We're making it between 5 and 6 knots, and the plan is to keep on a broad reach as long as possible, and then when we can't make the rum line, we'll tighten up, and when we find ourselves beating due west, we'll tack and head back up in the new wind that's coming. Over.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. So we will talk with you tomorrow and see exactly where you are, and I'm going to be interested to see where this low actually winds up being by tomorrow and into Thursday and Friday, see how quickly it's moving, and go from there. And you can make your decisions at that point in time. So anyway, have a good evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Over.
Thank you, David. I'm hoping this system is going to be to the south of those, or I'm hoping we can get to the north of it, but the changeover will be quite quick. But we'll have to wait and see. So eventually you don't care.
Okay, yes, well, it will be interesting to see.
Well, I think if you continue moving north as you're doing, the center of it will be south of you from what I can see now. But again, it's been changing, so we'll know more tomorrow. Over.
Okay.
Listening with bated breath.
All right, we'll clear with Venture Lady. I haven't heard from Namaji. I think Namaji are going to Vunda. A few minutes ago they were at, what were they at? About 27 degrees and 176 east. 7.1 on a course of 340. GFS said 15 knots, but based on what everyone's saying, it's probably more like 20. Okay, we haven't heard from Sunrise. One more call for Sunrise, Gulf Harbour.
Gulf Harbour Radio, this is Sunrise, over.
Well, Frank, there you are, and just tell us what you've got wind-wise and position-wise, over.
Yeah, we're currently, as you probably already know, at 31 degrees 27 south and 179.09 east. The wind today, as David said, did get up to around 8 knots on average, but it has died back again this evening, and it was from our southeast. Over.
Well, I guess we'll keep him on. That was at the low end of his estimate, wasn't it? 8 knots average southeast, but it's dropped down now. Yes, you really are in a bit of a dull spot down there, aren't you?
Position again.
He wants the position again, which is 3127 and 179, give or take. So I'm just looking at mine here, Sunrise here. God, it's about the lightest wind on the screen. That doesn't help you at all, does it, to have a record like that? But yeah, there's not much. I'm just he's looking too, and he'll be looking at proper models.
The isobars are so far spread apart.
Yes, they are spread apart. Boy, yeah, doesn't look much better tomorrow either. Oh my God, I'm going to pass the microphone because I haven't got any good news.
Oh, I could just go for a swim there. Yeah, tie a rope between your teeth and stroke to the north. It is light air, unfortunately. So unless you want to burn some fuel, it's going to be
wait till the front
late.
comes, then it will be.
What's that?
I said if he waits till the front comes on Friday, he'll be.
Oh, when the front comes, that'll change. Yeah, he'll be never whistle for wind.
Oh,
Here's the
God.
chief.
Yeah, no, we haven't got good news for you at all, Frank. Over to you.
Yeah, we know that there's light winds again tomorrow. We're taking a run line to Minerva and just going to have to go best economy until those winds come through. Over.
Yeah, the only trouble is the winds coming through are not exactly going to be very pleasant. All right, well, we'll talk to you again tomorrow and see where you are. So you'll be getting sick of the sound of the engine, I'm sure, but enjoy the peace of the weather. Okay, we'll clear with a Sunrise. Is there anybody else for Gulf Harbour Radio?
Gulf Harbour Radio, the Magic 3.
Oh, there you are. I guess I was reasonably close with the report I gave you, but tell us what your weather conditions are. Over.
Yeah, we're at 27.03 and 175.91. Weather conditions are west southwest at 16 to 20 knots. Clear skies, looks like a bit of weather to the northeast of us, but nothing much around, I don't think.
And the AIS said you were about 7 knots on a course of 340, so I'll just give the position, 27 and 175, give or take, west-southwest, which is interesting, 16 to 20 with clear skies and a bit of weather to the northeast, just looking over David's shoulder here. Yeah, sounds like, and are you going to Vunda, over?
The Magic 3 is going to Vunda, back.
Yep, roger that. So you would have heard the discussion on the weather then. So you're doing pretty well. You're just going straight to Vunda, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Over.
Roger that. Cheers now.
Cheers to you. Okay, is there anybody else for Gulf Harbour Radio?
Gulf Harbour Radio. This is Perigi.
Oh, hello, Perigi. Reasonable signal from you too. Whereabouts are you? I haven't looked for you today.
Good evening, Patricia. The position south. 27 degrees, 34 minutes. 179 degrees, 55 minutes. Over.
Okay, I have perigee at 2734 and east 17955. Go ahead.
All correct. Thanks very much, Patricia. Yeah, we have wind currently at 5 degrees true at 15 knots. We are making good a course of 360 degrees at 7 knots. Over.
Okay, we have perigee on course straight north at 7 knots. Could you just repeat? I think it was southeast 15. Was that right?
Correct. That's southeasterly 15 knots. Over.
Okay, got that. So we have 27 degrees. So there's quite a few people. You've got good easting in there. And you're headed to whereabouts your destination? Over.
Yes, perigee made the decision today. We are bound for Minerva North. Over.
Okay, you're going to go into Minerva. So join the festivities there, except it's probably not going to be all that nice to get off the boat. All right, thank you for that. Reasonable signal from you. How many on board? Over.
Perigee is carrying 4 happy POV. Over.
Got that. 4 POV, and we'll talk to you from Minerva. Okay, clear with perigee. And is there anybody else before I switch frequencies to talk to which way on 8297? Anybody else? No, nothing heard, and we will be back again tomorrow following you all with interest. The various boats. I think I've covered everybody. Did I give you not tied down's position? Because I know people are following them. 2443 and 17713 doing 6.5 on a course of 020. So that was not tied down, and we will be back again tomorrow on this frequency at 5:15 New Zealand time, 0515. And if anyone wants to get in touch, it's ghradio@extra.co.nz. That's XTRA. All right, thanks everybody. We're switching frequencies now, and the streaming will be switched off. Cheers all. Is at, because they'll want to know, 2537.